One of the grandest rooms in the House of Shadows is its library. Our collection of books and ancient tomes is vast. We have manuscripts from the library at Alexandria, an undiscovered Shakespeare folio detailing the horrors of witchcraft, as well as an original handwritten copy of the Necronomicon. But perhaps one of our favorites in the collection is a tale spun by an American author, a tragic gentleman who saw poetry and beauty in the macabre and made worlds from ink and paper. This tale comes from the fevered brain of Mr. E. A. Poe, who whisks us away to an abbey in the Italian countryside. It sounds romantic, doesn't it? The warm weather perfumed by periwinkles and jasmine. However, this is the 16th century, and a sickness is sweeping through the land, a disease that withers crops and destroys livestock, but more importantly, the flesh of men. No pestilence has ever been so fatal. Blood is its avatar and its seal. There are sharp pains, sudden dizziness, and profuse bleeding from the pores. The scarlet stains upon the body, and especially upon the face of the victim, are horrific. Their faces are like a death mask, crimson and terrible. To see it is to see the Masque of the Red Death.
It is such a relief to be leaving the city for the country. Prince Prospero's invitation came not a moment too soon.
Indeed. The scrum of the dead and dying is too much to bear. I don't mind throwing the poor a florin for food, but when they claw at your waistcoat with hollow eyes and crimson lips...
Oh, that's enough!
Of course. I'm sorry, my love. It's... I suppose I'm a little on edge.
We all are. But we need not worry now. Prince Prospero's abbey is in sight, walled and far away from this cursed pestilence.
I see it now. It certainly is larger than I would have imagined. And such strange angles. I've heard that the prince has a flair for the dramatic and grotesque.
I would bear the play acting of the prince's fancies with a smile and a curtsy, if it means that we are safe and warm from the disease back home.
Duke Stephano, Duchess Miranda, Prince Prospero welcomes you to his home. I will handle your luggage and carriage if you wish to join the others in the Grand Hall.
Excuse me, who designed the abbey? I've never seen such strange architecture.
The prince himself drew the plans for the building. There is no other like it in the world, a fact with which Prince Prospero is extremely proud.
May I request a tour?
You will see the bulk of the building as you follow me to the Great Hall. Any questions you have, I would be delighted to answer.
There does seem to be an awful lot of, wildlife here at the Abbey.
Indeed. The ravens have been building up on the scaffolding for weeks now. We usually don't see them this far into the country.
Isn't there something you could do about them?
I spent the better part of 2 weeks with poisons, arrows, slingshots, but to no avail. If we brought one down, 3 would appear in its place. Finally, the prince told us to stop. He said he liked the sound.
The sound?
The raven's cawing, sire. The prince says it soothes him. Here we are, the first chamber.
It is beautiful. Such a gorgeous shade of blue. And that stained glass window. Such artistry. What is it here that's being depicted? Is that a man or a...
It is a man in bed, milady.
And who is that with him? Feeding him grapes?
I'm sure I don't know, Duchess.
Of course you do. He's right there in that hooded cloak.
This way, milady. Sire.
Now a purple chamber. Tell me,
Call me Francisco, sire.
Tell me, Francisco, how many of these rooms are there?
7 in total, sire, before the doorway to the Great Hall and the bedchambers.
Are they all colored such as this?
Yes, milady. Blue, purple, green, orange, white, violet. Mind your step, please.
And each of them has a stained glass window, each featuring a different person with that same hooded figure.
As per the prince's desire, Duchess Miranda, he hired artists from Venice to come here and follow his instructions to the letter.
Yes, but what do they all mean?
Apologies, milady. My critical eye for art is lacking. But I'm sure the prince would be delighted to tell you.
And when do we see the prince?
He waits for you in the Great Hall, beyond the Black Room.
The Black Room?
The last of the colored chambers. See for yourself.
It's so dark in here. It's as if we're being swallowed whole.
It's just black fabric, Miranda. Nothing to be afraid of.
And the windows are crimson, like burning eyes or an open mouth.
Oh, enough. Francisco, take us to the prince immediately.
Of course, sire. Right this way.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my home. It is a pleasure to see so many familiar faces. Noble Diodato, Lord and Lady Vincenti, Marquis Spinel, Duke Stephano, and Duchess Miranda. Please join us. I am so happy you all have received my invitation and have braved the journey out of the cities to stay with me here at my home. I am grateful for the company, as I am sure you are grateful for the peace. For within these walls, there is no disease, no sickness, no rabble pawing at your clothes for aid or food or water. No, this place is a safe place, far away from the poor, the sick and unwashed. I have plenty enough food for several months, and the spring delivers clean water, but perhaps most importantly, I have a wine cellar full to bursting and a capable staff of servants and entertainers. My abbey has ample amenities and entertainments, and the outside world can care for itself while we are safe within my walls.
And what if we wish to go outside the walls, Prince Prospero?
I beg your pardon?
While we are all grateful, we cannot stay in your hospitality forever. A great sickness has fallen across the land, and we have a responsibility to our people.
The people are dying, Count Alonso. Those peasants outside these walls are breathing their last. We have an opportunity to weather the storm. Consider my home a safe harbor. Now please let us not think of unfortunate circumstances, but instead eat, drink, and be merry. We will be hosting a masquerade ball to welcome you all. My only demand is that each of you dress in the most inventive and grotesque disguises you can find. I want my great hall filled with monsters. Now please enjoy my wine while my court fool, Caliban, entertains us. Caliban!
Yes, my liege.
Spin a yarn or sing a song for my guests. They are tired from travel and wish to be entertained.
Your wish is my command, sire. I do have a piece I've been working on just for this occasion.
Let us hear it then.
Coming up, my lord. Lo, 'tis a gala night within the lonesome latter years. An angel throng, bewinged, betight, in veils and drowned in tears, sit in a theater to see a play of hopes and fears, while the orchestra breathes fitfully the music of the spheres. Mimes, in the form of God on high, mutter and mumble low, and hither and thither fly. Mere puppets they who come and go, at bidding of vast formless things that shift the scenery to and fro, flapping from out their condor wings invisible woe. That motley drama, oh, be sure shall not be forgot, with its phantom chased forevermore by a crowd that sees it not, through a circle that ever returneth into the self-same spot, and much of madness, and more of sin, and horror the soul of the plot. But see! Amid the mimic rout, a crawling shape intrude, a blood-red thing that writhes from out the scenic solitude. It writhes, with mortal pangs the mimes become its food, and seraphs sob with venom fangs in human gore imbued. Out! Out are the lights! Out all! And over each quivering form, the curtain, a funeral pall, comes down with a rush of storm, while the angels, all pallid and wan, uprising, unveiling, affirm that the play is the tragedy in man, and its hero the conqueror worm.
Well done, my Caliban.
Thank you, my lord.
Is this some sort of joke?
Sire?
Inviting us all inside to eat and drink while peasants die around us. Then you talk about being eaten by worms?
I beg your pardon, sire.
My dear Count Alonso, while Caliban's humor may not be to everyone's taste, I trust you can agree that the verse was well constructed and pleasing to the ear?
Of course, my prince. It is not the quality of the poetry that I am shocked by. It is the images it conjures.
And what images might those be, Count Alonso?
Forgive me, my lord.
Of course, but my curiosity remains. I bring you into my home safe and well fed. I provide you with revelries, and my fool Caliban regales us all with verse, and you see fit to complain.
My prince, Count Alonso is tired from travel, as are we all. We can't thank you enough for your grace in taking us into your lovely home. However, we have seen much sickness in the city. The streets are piled high with dead. These thoughts are still fresh in our minds, and while your Caliban's verse is lovely and lyrical and well performed, it is perhaps too timely.
I see. Well, why didn't you say so? Guards, seize Caliban from making our guests uncomfortable.
Sire?
My dear Caliban, I adore your performance, but I have to adhere to our guests' sensibilities. You understand.
But
Throw him in chains, shackle him to the statue in the courtyard, and give him 10 lashes. Perhaps next time his verse will be to our guests' liking.
My prince, isn't that just a little more?
Oh, you're right, my beautiful Duchess. So right. 20 lashes. Now you are all free to stay here, but I am retiring to the fountain to watch the show. Francisco, make sure our guests have enough wine.
Yes, my lord.
Oh, I didn't mean for him to even...
We would all do well, I think, to hold our tongues around the prince. His ways might be strange, but he is...
He is a madman. Excuse me.
Enter.
Apologies, my lady. I didn't mean to intrude.
Not at all. Francisco, is it?
Yes, my lady.
What brings you to my corridor, Francisco?
Earlier, my lady inquired about a tour of the grounds. Prince Prospero is finished with his duties before dinner and was hoping that you might join him before the festivities for some wine and hors d'oeuvres.
The prince wants to see me alone?
Should I tell the prince you are not ready?
No, of course not. I'm ready now. Where is the prince?
He is in the black room.
Duchess Miranda is radiant as ever. Thank you for your company. Please have a seat. Francisco, go and attend our other guests. I want to make sure that the mummers and the musicians are ready for the procession. And please reiterate to all our guests that I want them dressed as shockingly and grotesque as possible. While your manner of dress is beautiful, I had specific instructions for the party this evening.
Well, I'm afraid I'm not acquainted with the grotesque, my prince. I hope you'll forgive me.
But of course.
Your costume is most arabesque, my lord. The fabric dances like flame, and your mask, why, is that a crowned beast?
Indeed. I especially like the grin. A certain resemblance, don't you think?
Oh, my prince, you look nothing like that monster.
How do you find your lodgings, Duchess? I trust you are comfortable.
It is lovely, my prince. Thank you for your hospitality.
It was the least I could do for my friends. For who will lead the world forward if all of the aristocracy are rotting in the streets like commoners? Here, have some wine. It's an Amontillado, an excellent vintage.
I am certain it is, my lord.
Are you okay? You seem troubled.
Not at all. It's just the trip has me feeling tired.
Of course. Hopefully our masquerade will help raise your spirits and restore the color to your cheek, my dear.
I'm sure that it will.
Francisco informed me that you had admired my decor, that you liked my choice of color and decoration.
Yes, and your stained glass windows are very intricate and memorable.
They do linger in the mind, don't they? Did you have a chance to view my clock?
I'm afraid not, my prince.
Just over here.
It is enormous.
I had it carved from ebony, its pendulum imported from Spain. The face of the clock itself is inlaid with gold. The horologist who created it was a genius. It's a shame what became of him.
What happened to him?
He went mad. Shortly after completing this clock, actually. Fitting end for a man who spent his life in the pursuit of time. Well, no matter. We are safe within these walls as time and death march forward outside. We are safe within. May we laugh in the face of death himself. We shouldn't tarry. The procession begins. Are you not coming, Duchess?
I prefer to enter later, my prince. I want to prepare myself for the revelries, and I'm not feeling quite well.
Nerves, my dear. Don't keep us waiting. Lords and ladies, thank you all for your company, and thank you especially for your attention to the costume requests. I have never before seen such a debauched scrum of ghouls in my entire life. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. Well done. Please enjoy the music, the wine, and the revelry. We have plenty of food and supplies to last for months. Certainly enough wine. That is, if Marquis Spinel learns to pace himself. What is that old saying? Eat, drink, and be merry?
For tomorrow we may die.
What was that, my lord?
The remainder of the saying, Francisco. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we may die.
A rather hedonistic saying, is it not?
It is indeed. But it suits the company. I can hardly recognize anyone in these dreaded and horrible masks. It appears as though our outsides finally match our insides.
I don't mean to be familiar, Count Alonso, but if you are so opposed to the tastes of the prince, what brought you to his abbey?
I came to seek his aid, Francisco. My people are dying. Without subjects to govern, we are the lords and ladies of nothing. As I sought the prince's counsel earlier, I saw workmen sealing the gates behind us, welding the doors shut with iron and flame. Tell me, Francisco, do the guests know that we're trapped in here?
Excuse me, have you two seen my wife, the Duchess Miranda?
She the dragon or the gargoyle?
I beg your pardon.
The Duchess was meeting with the prince in the Black Room before the festivities. Perhaps she is admiring the colored chambers.
Excuse me.
Francisco, it appears as though this vintage of wine has gone sour. Please have the staff send up another cask.
Right away, my lord.
How are you getting along, Count Alonso? Enjoying the festivities?
Wine isn't as sour as the company, I'm afraid.
Oh, my Count. You must learn to laugh. It is the only way to make it through times of trouble.
Laugh. Laugh at being locked inside with this Bosch painting while the world outside dies.
A bit melodramatic. Here, have some roasted chicken.
What sort of game is this?
I beg your pardon?
Oh, the dish is riddled with maggots. Are you trying to serve us rotted meat?
I assure you, Count, that I had no intention of...
Prospero! What have you done to my wife?
What is the meaning of this?
She is a withered husk, blood blooming around her mouth and eyes.
Food and wine are poisoned. He's feeding us rotting meat.
I would never do such a thing. Everyone, calm down. Lords, ladies, please. Wait. Who are you? You there, the ragged shroud. Who are you? What is your name?
Surely you recognize me.
I have not seen you before tonight. Identify yourself. How did you get through the gates, the walls?
I am nimble and determined, my lord, Prince Prospero.
Did you have something to do with Duchess Miranda? Did you spoil my food and drink? I would look upon the face of the man I am going to execute.
I am no man.
Woman, then, I care not. Remove your mask now.
This is no mask.
I do not care for your attempt at humor. You ragged cur, show me your face!
Look deeply, Prince, into my eyes.
Oh my God. No.
Do you know me now, Prince? The face, the specter you have been outrunning. High walls and golden coins will not keep you from my grasp. I will come for each of you, one by one, filling my belly with your lives, and before I take your eyes, you will gaze upon my works and despair.
And the life of the ebony clock went out with the last of the gay, and the flames of the tripods expired, and darkness and decay and the Red Death held illimitable dominion over all. Prince Prospero sure knew how to throw a party, didn't he? It's a shame, though, that it ended with a whimper instead of a bang.